Hey, everybody, welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We are belted in. We've got the throttle down. We are heading down the road, aiming for, well, the New York Auto Show and some other things. But of course, there's a lot going on in the industry, as everyone knows, and this is the time for it. So, you ready to saddle up there, Fred? And
I certainly am. You're right. New York Auto Show is coming up. Getting some intel. It's dripping in. A couple of new models from
yep,
Subaru, Kia, and Hyundai. Kia and Hyundai always seem to have something new, don't they?
I'll tell you, that's Ford and Chevy. That's what they are now.
That's what they are now. Yep. Yep. And you have a story that is happening every time at this year and involves Jeep, doesn't it?
The Jeep Easter Safari is set to roll, and we have a look at some of the concepts. Plus, the Joose is on the loose.
The
It's
juice.
pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's
Jeep.
pretty cool.
Orange juice. Yeah, it's a cool
Well,
color.
orange juice, of course.
It is a cool color. And then uh, looks like it's time for a spring update when it comes to BMW. We're going to tell you about their big plans, additional range, new features, and there's even this weird tire inflator thing. It's hard to explain, so we'll talk
Hmm.
about this. First time I've ever heard of something like that, but BMW, yeah, spring cleaning, I guess, or spring refreshing is the best way to put it, right?
I think that's the best way. And we've been talking about them. Hemi V8s are supposedly back in production. We'll explain that.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe not yet in the USA. Believe you me, that is coming. They are going to build them back in the USA, but right now they're being built somewhere else, and we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk tech. AI cameras catching distracted drivers in the act. It's a bit of a
Yeah,
legal situation now, but it's pretty interesting where this technology came from, why it came from, and yes, that freaks me out when I see a car moving forward and someone's looking at their phone, and
oh,
and
yeah.
or even if they're not looking, they're looking in the other way. They're looking to the right and they're moving out into traffic, and it's like I see the car moving forward and they're looking the wrong way. Hey, have you
I
seen
just,
that?
I hope their car has forward automatic braking.
I hope so. I hope so. So, um, and we're also going to talk, Les. This is interesting. You know, a lot of manufacturers have been saying we're going back to buttons on vehicles, right? We are going away from touchscreens. We're going back to buttons. Well, one manufacturer is going the opposite way, and it's kind of hard to understand why they're doing this, but we will talk about that, the Playos system, or I guess that's how you say it, and it is something that is probably going to be across all of the vehicle lineup for Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis. We'll see if it's a good idea or not. We'll discuss that, right?
Yeah, I have my doubts here, but
Yeah, yeah. And then I have a
but
small vehicle to talk about at the
mm,
wheel
yeah,
review. This is the 2025 Lexus GX550 Luxury Plus. We're going to talk
boy,
about that. It basically built in the same platform as the Land Cruiser, but this one gets the upgraded engine. But that is big and gray and square, and it stands out. It drove like a much smaller vehicle, though, I have to say. So,
I might needs to rent some space in that.
yes, it's a great warehouse if you need to you know just store something in there
Yeah,
or whatever. But we'll have a full at the wheel review of that. It hard to believe around here. Spring. It doesn't feel like spring, but it apparently is spring, and that means New York Auto Show, right?
It does. It's not like the old days, but it's still a big, big show.
Yeah, it is. It is not like the old days. In the old days, there would be 2 days of
Yep.
car reveals and press conferences. Now there's one day, but that doesn't mean we're not going to be there recording content and getting some great interviews that we will share with you. And there is some news coming out of it that there. One of the big things is there's going to be the reveal of the new Subaru Outback, and it's a kind of a change for the Outback. From what we can see, which is not much, it looks like the Outback will be kind of like the Forester in the sense that they're raising the roof. They're going away from the tall wagon type look, and they are raising the roof and making it much more like not only the Forester but also other SUVs. With the high roof, they just don't want to have that kind of big station wagon look
Yeah.
anymore. What do you think? Will that alienate people that love it, or will it they'll just roll with it?
I I think I think that the Outback is they could put the Subaru name on a brick, and it wouldn't affect. I mean, people just love them, and they love driving them. So no, I don't think they'll get any pushback.
Okay. Well, they're not done there yet with reveals because they have one called the Trail Seeker, which is a larger EV. Of course, they have the Solterra, but they are now talking about the reveal of a Trail Seeker electric vehicle. We don't know much at all about that. Um, Care to
No.
prognosticate?
Well, I think this is a case where if they didn't have to reveal it, they wouldn't because of the circumstances these days. Um, but they're not super big in the electric market, so I think they need to show that they have the technology. So
It
I I think people will say, well, this is nice, whether or not it'll sell. Uh,
Well, of
man, I don't
course,
know.
Solterra is the same as the Toyota model.
Right,
It's a
right.
shared. I'm wondering if this is a shared model with Toyota or if it's something that they've done on their own. So
Could be, yeah.
we don't know. We don't know that much about it, but we will know more next week for sure on that. So Subaru, I believe they're also going to have some puppies there too, which is
Yes, they're going to have puppies. If you want to adopt a puppy, you've got to go to the New York Auto Show.
Yeah, there you go. So I think that will be a highlight of the show. Besides the other people,
It
maybe the
always is.
Barclays will be there. The Barclay family.
That's possible.
So there you have it on Subaru. We'll know more, and when we know more, we will share it with you. So um, over to Kia. Kia has some uh, ideas of their own. There's going to be, I think, 3 or 4 vehicles, a couple of small electric vehicles. And the other one that I'm kind of excited about is the K4 5 door
Yep.
hatchback. So there's a lot of talk. Will they have a hybrid version of that? Will they bump the power up for that? Um, and who knows? I mean, we'll have to find out. And then they're also going to have some. I believe they're. I think it's EV4 is one of them, which is a small,
Yeah.
like a very small crossover electric. Who knows what they have in store? Kia's always got
Well,
something going on. You know,
the K4, what, whatever we want to call it, wagon,
sedan. Well,
sedan.
they have a sedan. It says
Right. They have the
they
sedan.
they say that what we're showing is somewhere between a sedan and an SUV. So to me, I took that as the five
Right.
door.
But it's wagon-ish.
Yeah,
And
wagon-ish.
I have three people that I know who are telling me, asking me, as soon as you get some information on it, let us know.
Okay. Well,
This is a lot of people are interested in this thing
tell those people to get and watch Cruise Control and listen to Cruise Control
next week.
because I do have a couple of interviews already scheduled at Kia, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that because I like it because it sort of looks like a Pontiac vibe. It looks like a modern version of the Pontiac Vibe, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm hoping for a hybrid drivetrain. That would be a hit. I think
Well,
something.
Kia will make it any way you want it.
That's right. And they
Yeah,
won't
they
charge
respond.
you $10,000 for heated seats. They'll just put them in there, which is good. So, all
Yeah.
right. So, so that's what's potentially going on over at Kia. Um, Over at Hyundai, it's the new Palisade, and that will be it will be interesting to see if that is squared off like some of the other vehicles in their lineup, or if that will remain more rounded. We just have a teaser photo that doesn't really show anything. Shows like a headlight. That's what the teaser photos are now, just a headlight. And it's great to see. I'm a big believer in Hyundai and Kia. They just keep bringing this stuff out, and it's smart, don't you think?
Um, these guys really understand the car business, and they just know how to respond. They're they're just smart. They're like the old days in the car business.
Yeah, they're full line manufacturers. They're full line manufacturers
Exactly, exactly.
from inexpensive sedans all the way up to large SUVs. They don't have a pickup truck in their lineup, but Kia's probably going to get one at some point, some way. There's the Tasman, which is in Australia, although they say that's not coming here. It will be yet another pickup truck that we don't know about. So
I
maybe
don't
they'll
know. Do you
announce
think
that at their
it's
show.
do you think it's worth Kia and Hyundai putting out a pickup truck in the U.S.?
I don't know. I mean, the big thought is you go to a car dealer and they're like, "Hey, I want a SUV for around this price with all-wheel drive," and if you don't have it, and they try to sell you something you don't need, you'll walk away. That was the big problem with Subaru. That's why
Right.
they had to go for a three-row SUV because people would walk. They say, "I need a three-row SUV." Well, we don't sell one. Okay, well, thank you. So I don't know. I think people are looking for a less expensive, well-equipped pickup. We've seen this with the Maverick. It did well. If they did
Yep.
something to compete with Maverick, I think it might be worthwhile. I think that's people are gonna want, especially if tariffs stick around on pickup trucks and that. My gosh, what are they going to be? $150,000. So if they can get a small
Yeah.
pickup truck that starts around $25,000, I mean, it's interesting. I read an article about something called Slate, and this Jeff Bezos has investing in this. It they had the prototype on a flatbed. They think it was the prototype. It is a very inexpensive $25,000 two-door pickup. Sort of looks like the Jeep Comanche from many years ago.
Huh.
That is electric for $25,000. And I bet you they'll sell it on Amazon too.
Boy, that's cheap.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? That there's an idea for you. Maybe there is a bigger market for less expensive pickups. They're not going to start building
Well,
Super
yeah,
Duty pickups, you know.
yeah. I don't see them making the big heavy pickups, but I could see them getting that um, s- proper sized pickup market and running away with it.
Yeah, I'd say mid-size pickup is definitely a possibility for them. Um,
Yeah.
People need to do that. I mean, Ram is talking about doing it. Ford is doing well with it. GM
Yep.
has models, but they're kind of invisible to people. I don't know
Well,
why.
they're long in the tooth, and you're right, they're invisible.
Yeah, they're invisible. So, all right. What else going on at New York Auto Show? Well, I don't know until I get there, but those are some of the big reveals that we've talked about. As you said, it has changed. It is not not the way it was before. One other thing I'm going to take a look at that I'm excited about, already have something planned, is the Lucid Gravity. So the Lucid SUV, and I hope to get to drive it, which would be great. I think that would be great fun. And
Lucid is coming along. um, they're hanging in there, and I think that they're going to be a pretty powerful company, a significant company,
yeah,
and and we're seeing Tesla get worse and worse.
well,
Um,
what's interesting about Lucid, they brought Nikola. They bought their plant, the truck,
yeah.
which they went bankrupt. Lucid bought it, so they have some manufacturing now, or more manufacturing in the U.S. And that's a good sign for them, don't you think?
Oh, it is,
So
especially now, but
I
anytime.
don't know where that plant is. It might be somewhere in the Midwest. I'm not sure. Just those assemblers.
Yeah, but
It's a scam.
yeah, don't
I'm not going
don't don't go over the border.
there. Anyway, that's what's on plan for the New York Auto Show, and there's always something new and interesting that we come
There are always
across.
some surprises there, and I'm sure you'll uncover them.
I will try to uncover them. Yes, yes, for sure, for sure. Let's talk about something that happens this time of year, and that is the Jeep Easter Safari. They typically bring out, it's the 59th annual, by the way, uh, that is a long time, 59 years. Um, they're going to bring out 7 all new custom builds that pay homage to Jeep's brand and roots while
Hmm.
defining the future of off roading. I don't know what happens to all these concepts because certainly someone would buy one of them, I'm sure. uh,
I'm sure they would, but of course they don't have VIN numbers.
but it'd be a great off road vehicle. You could take it off
It would
road,
be,
couldn't you?
would be.
And yeah, let's kind of go through some of them. They have the Jeep Convoy concept, which is military inspired workhorse. The Jeep Gladiator is at the base of it. And
Hmm.
a design stands the test of time visually and functionally. They have the Jeep Bug Out 4xe concept, extended carbon fiber Jeep Wrangler. Wow, a carbon fiber Jeep that unites ultralight camping with overlanding for off grid adventures. The Jeep Wrangler 4xe Blueprint concept, which is a rolling catalog of nearly 40 factory tested and factory backed items. It's like if you got the catalog and went crazy, just ordered everything. Um, there
Yeah.
is the Buick Wrangler 4xe Sun Chaser concept, heritage inspired truck popularized by the mid 70s, giving the world's most off road capable mid-sized truck a new personality. And then there is the Jeep J6 Honcho concept, which mixes the classic late 70s Jeep Honcho theme with concept and production Jeep performance parts and accessories from Mopar. So they go out and get these things going around Rubicon and actually use them and put them to the test. Some of these concepts are beautiful. They really are. Really, really nicely done.
Well, and there's really a, a terrific Jeep following,
Yes.
and they're proud of these things. They love to decorate themselves, but if the factory does it for you, why not?
Well, it gets people thinking too. It gets people thinking about what if? What if we did this? What if we did?
Yeah,
What if we put this together? Would they like to see something like this? It's trying things out, and you know, I wonder if some of these things are saleable because a lot of the changes are cosmetic. You
well, you're right. I think, yeah, I think a couple of these that I was looking at here would be very sellable because it's just just bolting on some extra goodies.
Yeah, exactly. The go fast goodies, as they say.
Ultralight. Now, what I don't get is ultralight camping.
Well,
Um,
I guess it means if you ever watch those guys on YouTube, like they sleep in a small vehicle, they don't take much with them, and that's their whole concept. I think that's I think that's what they're talking about.
yeah, I guess.
Do it. There's one guy I know that modified a Suzuki Samurai. He's 6 foot tall. He took the passenger seat out so he can sleep on the passenger side on a specially built bunk, and that's what he
Okay.
does. He wants to go camping in the smallest, lightest, with the least amount of stuff. Everyone's got a thing, Les.
Everybody's got a thing. I personally am not a camper. Um, I don't think you are.
Oh no, I was an RVer. I liked RVing. I mean,
Oh, really? Well,
but I
RVing
liked
though
having
is
a shower and a place.
yes.
I didn't like sleeping in dirt. I
I
liked
want I want a refrigerator. I want a
fridge,
TV.
TV, nice warm bunk.
You got it.
Clean
Yeah, heating,
clothes to
air
put on.
conditioning.
Yeah, yeah. I'm all about that. I'm all about that. I way back in the Boy Scout days, I did camping in a tent, but that was pretty primitive. But I like
Well,
the
the back, there were the days in the '70s where I would be in a tent at a racetrack, and in the morning the water would be frozen,
yeah, yeah.
um, and
Well,
I would say, "Why am I doing this?"
I had a friend that drove one of the Formula cars, like Formula 3, is it?
The Formula Three.
Yeah, and he said he had his setup. He would set up his air mattress in the parking lot and sleep outside if it was warmer. And he knew his days of racing were over when he got woken up at 7 in the morning by his competition's professional chef pulling in with the long trailer, kitchen trailer to set up.
Oh,
And he was working
oh,
out of his, like towing it with his pickup truck and sleeping on the
that's it.
ground. He said, "Yep, I guess I'm done."
Yep, your
So
days are over.
it was fun though. It was a fun comment. It
Well,
stuck with
you
me.
can't sleep in a Cobra.
Yeah, no, I would say you cannot do that.
No.
But
Uh,
let's talk a little bit about BMW. They have a lot of spring updates, Les Jackson, um, which is good, and we'll kind of go through them because a lot of them are pretty interesting. Some of them involve electric range. So for the i5 eDrive 40, the i5 eDrive 40 with 20-inch wheels, uh, gets plus 8%. The i5 eDrive 40 with 21-inch wheels, it gets a 278-mile range plus 3%. By the way, 19-inch wheels gets 310-mile range, 20 gets 300, and 21-inch gets 278-mile range. I'd rather have the range, wouldn't you, than the
Well,
wheels?
yeah. Well, the tire gets wider and there's more drag.
It makes sense, but wouldn't
Yeah.
you rather if you're
I
stuck in the
would
middle of
much rather
nowhere?
get the range. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it continues on for X Drive 40, more range all around, 4%, between 4% 5%. Uh, and the improvements are due largely to the silicon carbide semiconductor components in the power electronics. They have been optimized, as well as wheel bearings have been optimized to reduce friction and rolling resistance. So there you go. They're also going to have
Boy.
the 2026 BMW 228 Grand Coupe, powered by a 2-liter, 241 horsepower twin power turbo 4-cylinder. That's got an MSRP of 39,600 with a destination of 1,175. So that's a new model there. And then faster charging on plug-in hybrid models. The higher AC charging rate will result in significantly reduced charging times for the plug-in hybrid models. All models from March production. The 550e, the X Drive, the X5, X Drive 50e, and M5 are capable to charge 11 kilowatt hours, up from the previous 7.4 kilowatt hours. Interesting. A lot of plug-in hybrids just had 120 volt capability because the battery was so small, and not really a problem because it would easily charge overnight, but maybe as batteries get bigger in those plug-in hybrids, we will see faster charging. And it's just a nice thing to have as a capability.
Yeah.
But most of them, I'd say the vast majority of the plug-in hybrids just had a regular 120 volt plug-in, which was fine. If you got 30, 40 miles of range, you could do that overnight easily. But as we get higher and higher ranges, which I'm hoping for plug-in hybrids with, 120-mile
Oh, sure,
ranges,
sure.
it would be great. Here is a real interesting thing. I have to read this because I was reading through it last night as I was prepping the show. And I thought, oh, why are they even bringing this up? It sounds like they're doing a slime kit instead of a spare tire, but it's more than
Yeah,
that,
because
isn't it?
uh, that's right. I was reading it too, and I thought, well, we've been doing this for 40 years, in one form or another. But yeah, the seal and drive tire kit.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
than just slime and an air compressor. So let me read you what this is. It's a one-piece seal and drive tire kit, includes a magnet and a connector pin to secure it to the hub of the affected wheel. A hose then fills the tire with air and sealant. Okay, so that sounds like a slime kit.
That's, yeah, fix a flat.
Using an integrated compressor, once
Yeah.
sufficient pressure is achieved, greater than 20 psi, the journey can continue. Here's where it gets weird. With the device safely attached to the wheel hub, drivers can cover an average range of about 120 miles to up to 50 miles an hour. It's going to be introduced
Okay.
as standard equipment on all BMW 5 Series models starting with the March production.
So this magnet has to be centered perfectly on the wheel hub.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of
Wobbliness.
wobble, shaking.
Mm-hmm.
This is, yeah. And you're not, well,
You're not taking it off. So
but you're not, where are you filling the tire? Does it have a hose that's going over to the,
it must have a hose, and it must be have a battery. As you've seen those tire inflators that are very small.
right. I
It
have,
must
yeah, I have one of them. Yeah.
it must be like that. So you don't need a tank. You don't need a big compressor, which you couldn't put on your wheel. That would be
No.
crazy. So it
Yeah.
must be a very small, contained setup with a magnet on it to hold it on the tire. And as you know, they have probably thoroughly tested this. I'd like to see it because it's a good idea, isn't it? I wonder if it
It
could
is a good
be
idea.
an aftermarket piece for other people. So it keeps just inflating it, I guess. I guess the hose stays connected. If
I
so, you
guess, yeah.
put the sealant in. If it goes less than 20 psi, it turns on and pumps more air in as you're driving down the road.
Hmm.
I guess. If I see somebody at BMW, uh, I'm going to say, do you have that new seal and drive tire kit that you can show me? And we'll get a video on that.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
would
if they'll
like
have that
to.
there.
I'd like to. Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I would love to see it. So, plus a couple of more things from BMW. Series 5 can now be ordered in frozen Portimao blue. Sounds nice. Blue metallic. And two
Hmm.
merino leather interior colors, dark violet and Atlas gray, and taupe and Atlas gray. And door mounted switchgear is now finished in high gloss black. Um, so there you have it. A couple of updates in range,
Yeah,
a unique spare tire mobility kit, and a some more colors, a lot of things.
and
Once
a
again,
tariff.
an additional that spare tire kit will cost you additional $10,000.
Um, yeah.
Now,
So,
this I would say, if this was in the car, I would want to take it out and look at how it went on the wheel, so I knew how to use it ahead of time. Wouldn't you?
well, it's got. They said it's on the hub, so obviously the hub has to be ferrous metal
Mm-hmm.
because the wheel isn't.
No, it's an alloy wheel, probably. I would just wouldn't
Um,
want to try to figure it out on the side of the road. I'd like to
no, I
say
wouldn't either
fit
because
it
I'm
to the
worried it
wheel.
would fly off,
Yeah, and be slinging around on the hose until the hose broke, and damaging,
banging,
smashing
banging
in.
again.
Oh, that would be a nightmare. Anyway,
Oh boy,
well, let's
yeah.
move on to Hemi production. Hemi production. Okay, so there's a report that Hemi production has resumed in Mexico. And there was another report that there was a V8 Charger. They were fitting a V8 to the Charger somewhere around in this plant. Isn't that interesting? Someone's going to do it. There's an
Sure.
erect electric Charger already, and some people are saying we should grab that and put a Hemi in it. Um, it's got some.
We could make a lot of money smuggling Hemis into the country.
Shh! Don't tell anyone.
They would never think to look for an engine. They're looking for drugs.
There you go. I don't know. I'm not going to disavow any knowledge of that, but all I know is there is this is from Car Scoops, and that the leak indicates that the site is aiming to build 630 Hemi engines per day in July,
Well, that's pretty significant.
and the new Ram. They're testing that with a 5.7 liter Hemi at the Mexico plant. So it's going to move to the U.S. too. Production's going
Sure.
to move to the U.S. at some point. They're getting back into the Hemis. They definitely are.
Actually, the engine itself, the production cost of the engine isn't that much.
Mm-hmm.
So a tariff on it doesn't really hurt too much.
They are, but the plan is to move it back to U.S. I think that this is just
Right.
temporary. This is a
Yeah,
temporary ramp up, because once again, eliminating the Hemi was a bad idea for Dodge and Ram.
exactly. Yeah, the electric just not a market for it.
Yeah. So 600 Hemis a day. That's a lot of engines, isn't it?
It's a lot of engines.
Yeah. So, Well, that's from Car Scoops, and that's what they say is happening. So, what do you think? Let us know. Will the Dodge, if it survives tariffs, will the Dodge
Yeah,
Charger have a Hemi slammed into it? I say yes. I think they will find a
I
way to
say
do
yes
it.
also.
You know, it will be more expensive now since it wasn't engineered for it. I think they should have secretly engineered it for that. You know, because somebody would have been a hero then, wouldn't have they? Say like, nope, I put one in it and it fits you, but you have to just make this part this way and then it will fit.
I am sure that they built these all along to accommodate the engine.
Yes, and even if they were told not to, they probably did because that happens. That does happen in the
Yeah.
automotive world. There's
Oh
like, nah,
yeah.
I want to see if it fits, and it will come back. It will come back for sure. So, want to talk a little tech, Les Jackson?
Let's talk a little tech.
You and I universally hate speed cameras, don't we? Because typically the money doesn't go to the
That's right.
town or the county or whatever. It goes to the person with the speed camera. And, sometimes they might not be accurate or this red light camera, the light changes, anything like that. Well, uh, let's go over to South Lake, Minnetonka Police in Minnesota,
Minnetonka in
of all
Minnesota.
places. Yep. Um, they have bought this Australian made camera. It uses multiple cameras. It's called Acusensus, I believe. That's how you would say that. And it was put together in Australia by somebody whose friend was killed by a distracted driver, right? A allegedly drunk driver on their phone. So multiple
Oh,
things going on
wonderful,
there.
wonderful.
That all they need to be doing is speeding too, and eating a hamburger. Um, so this technology is used in Canada and the United Kingdom, and it uses four AI-based cameras to get a clear picture of somebody just using their phone or being, distracted driving. Um, so far, they have not used it in a sense where they put it on a pole and you drive past it and it gives you a ticket. They use it sort of like a laser gun where they can get this picture. It's only up there for a very short period of time and then the police pull you over. I know I don't need a fancy camera to tell you. I look as I'm driving, and there's always someone on their phone. There's always someone looking down, obviously, at their phone.
Always.
They can't stop it. They can't stop looking at their
No,
phone.
it's an addiction.
It's an addiction. So there's a lot of questions. Will this spread out or will it not spread out? Will people start using this? There's sort of a conundrum. If you look down for a second and the camera flashes, is that distractive driving? So they don't know if these things are going to be used in a wide area, but it's just interesting to see the technology. This is sort of like I know people that have driven too fast on the autobahn, and they take a picture of you in your car, um, and then they bring you to the police station. They show you that is you driving. And it's sort of like that. They do this in Europe already. Um, in this article that was a CBS News, Minnesota Star Tribune article, I mean, they blanked the guy's face out, but you could see like it was like an infrared photo. You could see him
Yeah.
looking at his phone
It's
and like this, like his phone's like here and here's the windshield, and it was kind of pretty obvious what he was doing. Um, but it's I don't know how you I don't know how you stop this. I've seen people be hit by vehicles, everything else, looking at their phone. They just walk out into traffic. I don't know if you can ever stop it.
I'm not sure you can. They're actually doing a traffic study right here on our main road. Um, to try and figure something out because that we're having four utility poles knocked down every year,
Wow.
at least one pedestrian killed, and crashes on a weekly basis.
Wow.
And it's a straight road. You
Right.
know,
It's not like it's tricky with a lot of things
no,
come. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
People just aren't paying attention. They're fixating on the street light ahead, thinking, how much time have I got to get through the green?
Right.
And for some reason, they're changing lanes and running into each other. So,
So weird.
uh, what's causing it? Well,
You gotta
obviously, distraction.
you gotta be into drive. You gotta be in the moment in driving because stuff
Yeah.
happens fast. So, hmm. Yeah, that's it's really strange. It really is. But anyway, that's the technology for this. Let's talk a little more technology too. And this was a little confusing to me because um, many manufacturers are moving back to buttons. Volkswagen did. They even like had a
Yep.
like a public apology, not apology, or reckoning. Like, yes, we should have gone and and stayed with buttons. Well, over over at Hyundai, they know this too because they they went back to buttons. Let's say in their some of their SUVs and things, and moved away from haptic controls. But in the meantime, they're coming out with this new software brand, Plios. It's scheduled to launch in the next generation in-vehicle infotainment system dubbed Plios Connect in the second quarter of 2026. They estimate that it will be in 20 million of its cars by 2030. The system is Android Automotive based OS and features smartphone like interface with split view, multi view window functions, Glio AI voice recognition based, and AI for intelligent vehicle control, and single connected user profile accessible in any compatible car. So this is a full touchscreen type of system, um, and it's kind of weird. It's almost like a Tesla-like system that they're going to. Um,
Yeah.
so, what do you make of that? Why? How can they do both of these things? How can they say at 1 minute we need more buttons, and then go back to a touchscreen type setup where it's all buttons? What do you? I mean, is this where technology disconnects from what people want completely?
Well, I'm wondering if this is a generational thing. You know what? How does a millennial feel about this?
Mm-hmm.
I know how I feel about it. It's a distraction.
I mean, I think it's cheaper and updatable. That's let's face it,
Certainly.
as you know, infotainment when it goes out of date, it really dates the car. So they might be saying, well, if you have multiple cars with this system, you'll have the muscle memory and it will you'll have all your stuff there. You won't have to look for it. And AI, it should be you can just yell, make it cooler, and you don't have to do specific. Uh,
That's fine,
but
but
I don't know. I mean, I still think the fastest way to turn on something is with a switch.
uh, that's muscle memory.
Yeah,
You know where it is. You know where the off switch is. You know where the heater control and the wiper switch and all that.
right.
Um, I really honestly think that this is a we need to talk to people who are in their 20s and 30s.
Yep.
Uh, those of you out there who are in your 20s and 30s, let us know. Let us know if you think this is useful, if it's the right way to go. You prefer it
Right. I don't know.
because I don't.
No. Now, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff coming down the line
Yeah.
from Hyundai and the rest of the team there. Les Jackson, it's at the wheel time. We have a very small vehicle here for you to look at. uh, this is the Lexus GX550 Luxury Plus, and it is in a very cool color named Incognito. I love the gray.
Incognito.
Yeah.
Nothing incognito about this thing.
No, you can see it coming. This is built
Yeah.
on the GAF platform and suspension, ladder frame, a strong and lightweight ladder frame body, and it is underpins both the Toyota Land Cruiser and the Lexus LX, I believe. LX, yes, which is kind of the Lexus Land Cruiser. So the GX, though, what makes this different than both of those vehicles is it comes with a 3.4 liter twin turbo V6, where the others come with a 4-cylinder hybrid system. This gets a twin turbocharged 3.4 liter V6, 10-speed direct shift automatic transmission, 349 horsepower, outperforming the previous generation's 301 horsepower. Also gets a big torque boost and a massive 479 pound-feet of torque, twin turbocharged, and it's pretty good. Towing capacity, by the way, is over 9,000 pounds for this vehicle. Step inside. It is a luxury vehicle all the way around. Everything Lexus. Look at the perforated leather, the open pore panels on the seat. It is, attention to detail and beautiful luxury Lexus everywhere you look. There's even the outlet, the 12-volt outlet, gets a damped closing setup, so it doesn't just slam shut. You have a little spot to sit your phone up there and let it charge, which is nice. You can view it. I love the graphics in the deep binnacle. You can see all the different settings controlled by the console knob, and the graphics are splashy and fun. Mode select there right on the steering wheel. Big hood, big upright windshield, good visibility, but you sit up way high. Side view mirrors are basically like iPads. Easy to shift into high or low 4x4, and you can lock it up with a button. Out back, captain's chairs in the second row, plenty comfortable, plenty adjustable. And there's a small console in the center for cup holders and things like that. And then plenty of treats for the rear seat passengers, heated seats, and a whole lot more. Great. This is a square box, so the leg room and the headroom is wonderful. Flip and fold seats, electric rear seats that fold up and down. You can control them either from the back or the front, so you can do this easily. I like how they went down. If you watch the seat cushion, it folds under and makes a nice flat load floor. And I think that's great. You put all those seats down, it's relatively flat. Everything works smoothly and nice. It is a sea of luxury in here. Of course, it's dominated by that big, massive screen. Nice leather. I mean, you could live in here. Under the hood is that twin turbo V6. What I like, it's got two air boxes, one for I guess each bank, or each turbo. That is really, really nice. Of course, like most Lexus engines, it is covered in plastic. Color's called Incognito. I like that a lot. I think it's a cool looking color for such a big vehicle. And it is kind of a squared off big machine. It has great off-road performance, 9.84 inches of road clearance, ground clearance. Rugged and refined. I would say that is a good way of putting it. Cloud navigation, intelligent assistant, digital key available, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You got it all. All the safety gear is present. Mark Levinson surround sound, 21 speakers. I know you like 22, but this has 21.
Oh, the more the better.
Yep. Lexus safety system 3.0, pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, risk avoidance, emergency steer, you name it. It's got everything. Ours is the Luxury Plus, but I'll give you some ideas of the cost. These start, the GX550 Premium starts at 65,585. Uh,
Hmm.
goes on up to the Overtrail Plus, which is 80,695. But we didn't stop there because we had the GX550 Luxury Plus. So our price was $79,900. Digital key added 375. Tonneau cover, which is basically a cargo cover, $1,100. Head up display, $900. Traffic jam assist, 620. A cold area package, $440 for heated second row captain's chairs, roof rail crossboard bars, 440. Key glove, a little key glove to put your key in, 25. Ball mount, 80. And then carpeted cargo mat, 150. So 83,240 with destination of 1350, 84,590.
Hmm.
So that power is fun. The 3.4 liter V6 engine, 349 horsepower, but the mileage is 15 city, 21 highway
Oh,
for a combined
oh.
number of 17. Boy, that brings
Um,
back memories.
and I just calculated the tariff on this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's $22,000. But who's counting?
Who's counting? Just blow it over. Blow it over $100,000. Yes, I don't have information on here where it is assembled. That's interesting. I don't have that. And I don't have the 5-star safety ratings on this. I believe these. Oh, I'm sorry. Final assembly point is Tarahara-Ichi, Japan. So tariffs
Yeah,
are part of it, right?
right.
Uh,
Well, not this one because it's already here.
Not this one because it's already here, but if you were to order one in the future, um, it's. I loved how that. I just like how that seat cushion goes back in there and folds.
I do too. That's slick. That's
that
just
is
slick.
that is slick. So, what do you think for if you had to pull something that was 9,000 pounds and haul stuff in luxury, it might be a good vehicle. I mean, it is body on
Yeah,
frame, body on frame. It's a great tow vehicle, right? Um,
and a big family vehicle. If
it drives
even
smaller than it is. It drove really well. I mean, it was fine. It really was.
yeah. So you didn't feel like Ralph Cramden.
No, no. No, I didn't. But I will say this: when you're turning left, you got to turn like a truck. You got to take it wide. That's like you're in a tractor
Okay.
trailer. I would say this might be too much vehicle for some people, even though it didn't. I can drive it. You can drive it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're used to hundreds and thousands of different vehicles, but
But would I want to drive it every day and try to park it? No.
no, I wouldn't either.
But I'm used to driving. I drove vans. I drove all kinds of stuff. But it's a big machine. It's a beautiful machine. Um, it's
Yeah,
certainly
still.
luxurious. It is Lexus quality. I just like me personally like it in a smaller package. But there you have it. The at the wheel review of the big GX550 Luxury Plus. Great vehicle. It's not cheap. Doesn't have great MPG, but you may not care. I mean, that V6 was smooth. It had plenty of power. Um, it could be the vehicle for you if this is what you need. And I think some people like it because it's got the big horsepower. Is not a hybrid. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I think there will always be a market for big vehicles like this.
Well, I think you're right.
Yeah. I like the color. The incognito was a cool color. So, hey, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Cruise Control. We covered a lot of things going on in the industry. We'll be back next week, and we'll tell you about all the things we found out at the New York Auto Show. In the meantime, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.